Hello. In this module 14 of this AWS Solutions Architect Associate, uh, this is Anand speaking. Yeah, we will be exploring about this module 14 guided lab, that is hybrid storage and data migration with AWS Storage Gateway, File Gateway. Okay, already I have gone into this lab and started this lab also. So you see this guided lab, hybrid storage and data migration with AWS storage gateway, file gateway. We will be exploring about, after completing this lab, okay, with NFS share and attach it to a Linux instance. Migrate a set of data from Linux instance to the S3 bucket. Create and configure a primary S3 bucket to migrate on-premises data to AWS. Create and configure secondary S3 bucket to use cross-region replication. Create S3 lifecycle policy to automate manage data in a bucket. Okay, so yes, I have already started this lab. You can see this lab also ready. So yeah, this is console. Yeah. So let me go for the first one, which is reviewing the lab architecture. So when I go to this AWS, what we call as console, if I go into S3, see I am into North Virginia, go into S3, what he mentions is that there is a bucket which is created in Ohio region. So the data from the Linux host is copied to the primary bucket. The bucket can also be called as a source. And the destination, we have another bucket in another region, that is Oregon. Okay, let us explore these two buckets. So I'll just go with the buckets. You see this, there are two buckets. Yeah, we need to create the bucket, sorry. So we need to create two buckets, especially as three buckets. Data from Linux host is copied to the primary bucket. The bucket can also be called as the source, and the larger ones, which when we use the CRR, cross region replication, it can be called as the destination. Yeah, creating the primary and secondary buckets is task number 2. So we will create this bucket, one of the bucket name, it can remember easily and it is globally unique. So that it should be in US East. So he has mentioned as Ohio region. So let us create a bucket. Maybe I'll create a bucket called as Anand source. Okay, source. He mentioned as Ohio, US East 2. See this. And we need to see for this CRR, we often we need to have this bucket versioning enabled. So that please take it into consideration. Without this, the activity will not be carried forward. Okay, so I am enabling this bucket, and then you can create the bucket, the first one, with all the other as default settings. Here the bucket is created. Now we will create one more bucket, okay, which is called as Anand destination. So this will be in a different region. So region called as US West 2, one is Ohio, the other is Oregon. So this is in Oregon, okay, in a different region. Yeah, remember to enable this versioning, enabled, and say create a bucket. So you see there are two buckets which has been created. So Anand source, which is in Ohio, and Anand destination is in Oregon. Right, with this the task 2 is completed. So now let us enable this cross region and replication. Okay, so you can take the source bucket and say under management create replication rule. So this is my source bucket. So once you enter into this, create a, go to management. So create a, what we call as a replication rule here. Create a replication rule. The rule name is CRR full bucket. CRR full bucket. Okay. Any name can be given, but here we are given full bucket. So the other elements which you should take care is status is enabled. source bucket. Okay, already you have chosen the rule scope. For rule scope, apply all objects to the bucket. So this status is enabled. Apply to all objects in the bucket. You can specify if you want any limit to saying that so and so specific folder for prefix, or maybe so and so specific files or something like that, but I am using this apply to all objects. And choose the destination as specified the bucket. This is your account ID. Yeah, choose the bucket in this account. Browse S3 into the Oregon. Choose the bucket in this account, that is another account. So I choose from, this is destination. Choose path. So you see this one, remember you are in destination, you have chosen. Choose a bucket in this account, we have chosen already. Select the role. You can select the role which will help you. You see this S3 CRR role, so which will help you to access from S3 between the buckets. Okay, so here just see this CRR role. Yeah, S3 CRR role. Remember this is very important. Yeah, and just select the class of buckets, class. So I think it's not required. Say save when prompted and submit. Yeah, save. Rest all you can leave it default. And say existing objects, you can select no, do not replicate these objects. Also he has mentioned here, choose no, then choose submit. Yeah, so the rules are now created. You have two buckets here, you see. Submit. So you are in number 14. Choose upload to upload a file, any file we want to upload, and then we will see whether the file is really getting replicated or not. So that will complete the task number 16. I'll upload one of the file into source. Okay, so I will upload one file. Maybe you can say file, add files, maybe one or two simple small files you can, like I'll use one, maybe this, any file you can upload. Okay, I'll go to desktop, maybe I'll apply maybe one this and maybe another one this and another one this. 3 files I'm going to upload, small files. Just say open and say upload. Okay, the files are getting uploaded. Right, just say close. You see this here, there are 3 files in your source bucket. So try to go through the destination. You should see the uploaded files being copied into this destination bucket also. You may need to refresh, okay, to the destination. I'll go to the destination bucket. So this is my destination. You see this one. Sometimes you need to wait for some time. Yeah, you can see all the 3 files got copied. Sometimes if you don't see, just wait for few seconds and then try to refresh, you will get it. So this completes your task number 3. Okay, now task number 4. So we learned about this cross region replications. So 2 different regions we have done replication of these files. Files or folders between the buckets. So task number 4 is configuring the file gateway. So you see this one, configuring the file gateway and creating an NFS share. So in this task, you will deploy a file gateway appliance to the EC2. So let me duplicate this one. So I'll just move towards this one. S3 is already there in your buckets. Your 2 buckets are there. Okay. So now let me select the storage gateway, which will also be there in the storage section. This is hybrid storage integration. This is storage gateway. Okay, point number 17. Ensure that at the top right corner that you are in North Virginia region. Yeah, I'm not in North Virginia, I'm changing it to North Virginia. because your servers might be there in North Virginia. Okay, so create a gateway, set up gateway settings. So gateway name is file gateway, file gateway. You can select that. See this, create a gateway. So gateway name is file gateway. So as per the instructions I am proceeding. So here he asked us to create a time zone, choose GMT -5, that is US and Canada, GMT -5. So this is currently GMT plus 5:30. So I will select -5. -5 is something here. You can see US and Canada. Okay, right. Gateway option. You choose this Amazon S3 file gateway. You have different type of gateways: FSX file gateway, tape gateway, volume gateway. I am selecting this S3 gateway. Okay, so you see this one. Host platform is Amazon EC2, launch instance button. So here select Amazon EC2 instance and say you can use defaults or customize launch instance button. So a new tab opens to the EC2 launch wizard, but here itself we can see the link automatically selects the correct Amazon machine image that must be used by the file gateway. Alright, so the name of this file gateway is file gateway appliance. So AMI from the catalog, accept the default storage gateway AMI. You can see this. Your VPC. See, I think there is a small difference between this way. Key pair is walk key. Configure your VPC on premises VPC. This one, select this on premises VPC. Please select only that. And subnet, here he has mentioned here. Subnet is on premises subnet. Auto assign enable. Yeah, on premises subnet. Key pair also select walk key, which has been mentioned here. You see this. Yeah, select this key pair. Okay, so use default settings or customize your instance settings. You can say here launch instance. The settings are from the launch instance. Here he has mentioned that. Launch instance, this is point host platform. So a new tab opens. Yes, this has gone automatically. So the file gateway appliance. So this I am giving file gateway appliance. So Amazon storage gateway. So this is the AMI which has been selected. Don't change that selection. And instance also, you see this, it is t2.micro, right? Here T2 instance type, select t2.xlarge, t2.xlarge, large, yeah, xlarge, which has 4 CPU and 16 GB memory. Don't try in FreeTire account, try only in Canvas, because this will incur a lot of charges. T2xlarge, yes, so that is done. And also key pair name is walk key. Okay, key pair name is walk key. And you have a storage, yeah, you need to select your edit network settings. So this is your on premises VPC and also on premises subnet. Absolutely, the one which is selected is right. And auto assign enable, that's okay. And let me check the security group. Security group, file gateway access security group in the name. Yeah, here the security group name, file. See this, file gateway access security group. This one not on premises, file gateway access security group. See this. Note that the security group is configured for 80, 443, 53, 123 and 2049 ports. Okay, we can check that. Yeah, you can see this is advanced configuration. Yeah, scroll down. We'll also verify this subnet, what all file gateway access subnet, security group really contains. So once this is done, for additional information about the ports used, storage gateway documentation, uh, security group as on premises SSH access. For common security types, file gateway access, also select security group with in the same name. So on premises access, two security groups I have selected. I have selected two, on premises and file gateway access. Yeah, you may need to select show all selected for both. Yes, storage is add volume, size is EBS volume of 150 GB. So storage, you can say add new volume of 150 GB. Leave that 80 GB, and also this is 150 GB of your storage gateway is needed of EBS volume. Okay, right, of EBS volume. This has been, yeah. Are there any advanced details? Finish creating the gateway, launch instance and view all instances. Okay, I think these are all the things which are there. You can say just launch instance. Yeah, success. And also after say launch instance, a success message displays. Choose view all instances. You can see view all instances at the bottom. You can see one instance, couple of instances getting loaded. Yeah, your file gateway apply instance will take a few minutes to initialize. File gateway appliance instance, this one. Yeah, it's running already. Only thing, it is initializing and checks are getting passed very soon. Okay, so monitor the status of status checks to complete. Choose refresh to quick so and so, and select your public IP to see the status of instance. Okay, I see the status of this instance is still running. Basically, select this particular one. This is my public IP. You will use this IP address to complete your file gateway deployment. Return to storage gateway. Yeah, I am returning back to storage gateway. It should be still setup gateway Amazon EC2. Yeah, setup still Amazon gateway EC2. So you can say I have completed all the steps. Okay, and now you can say connect to AWS settings. Step 2, say next. Connected to AWS is the second one. You have 4 steps here. Okay, for the service endpoint, select publicly accessible, choose next. Publicly accessible, yes, endpoint access has been selected. Your I think you need to give the IP address. Step 2, that's all, publicly accessible. So for IP address, paste the IP address of the public and copy it into the file gateway instance. So I copy here the IP address, yeah, which I have shown here, this particular one of your file gateway access, right. So publicly accessible should be selected and say next. Step number 3. Yeah, that is step number 3 is review and activate. Review and activate, choose next. In step number 4, configure gateway, deactivate logging. Okay, we will go through that. So scroll down, review is okay. Then last step, configure your gateway. Configure your gateway. CloudWatch log group, deactivate logging in. CloudWatch log group, deactivate logging. Okay, yeah, and CloudWatch alarms, no alarms. I am selecting no alarm, scroll down and say configure, and say configure, scroll down, yeah, configure. Just ensure your checks are complete, status checks should be complete, yes, before say configure. The request is taken. Yeah, successfully, you should see message successfully activated file gateway. Right, leave it. So configure a successfully activated gateway at displays. If the configure cache storage panel, you will see a message the local disks are loading. Okay, wait for the local disk status to show that it has finished processing approximately a minute's time. After processing is complete, go to allocated to and cache and save changes. In the configure cache section panel, yeah, see this one by allocating one or more. Okay, so you will see a message the disks are loading. Wait for the local disk status to show it is finished approximately 1 minute. Yeah, and then after the processing is complete, go to allocated to and select cache. Allocated to selected as cache, yes, and then what you need to do, choose save changes. Yeah, it is already saved. Yeah, then save changes. Start creating the file share. From the left side, choose file shares, create file share. Yeah, you can see the file shares here. Okay, create a file share. So wait for the file gateway status to change running. Okay, let me create this file share. Okay, so select the name of the gateway, name of the file gateway you just created. Yeah, the gateway is file gateway, right? So how do I want to select? So select this using the source gateway and access using NFS. Yeah, you can choose your source bucket. This is Anand source, right? And then yeah, so I have chosen S3 bucket. Region is Ohio, AWS region. That is your source bucket. Yes, you got it. And say next. Basics. In S3 setting, on the Amazon S3 storage settings. See, this is Amazon S3 storage settings. Configure the storage class of the new for this new objects is S3 standard. Yeah, this is standard. Current defaults are storage standard class. These are default values. All right. So what are the other things which are there? Object metadata, guess mime, give bucket ownership full control. File share name, Yeah, here let me go through this S3 storage settings. So once this is done, this is default. Okay, customize configuration, you will see 4 steps: Amazon S3 settings, etc. Scroll down to the bottom, say next. This is S3 standard settings. Yeah, you can select S3 standard, guess MIME and give bucket owner full control. Yeah, full control. Create new IAM role, paste the which one policy which you retrieved from these instructions. You can retrieve by the following instructions. Choose details drop down under the instructions. If you are not able to see, this is point number 33. Just refresh once again. You should see the details button. Yeah, point number 33. Go to 33. Yeah, I am into IAM role. Here details, see this one, details, just say show. You can see the IAM role. Click this show, copy the rule. Yeah, this one, policy. This is your complete ARN. Copy FGWIAM policy ARN. Alright, so copy that and say paste it here. So this encryption is rest all are default. Say next. Right, so file access settings. So here you might get a warning message that the file access from anywhere. For this lab, you can safely disregard this warning. So scroll down with all the default values. Just say next. Okay, and the last part is the fourth one is review. Choose next and say create. Choose next and create. Just say create. So this completes your storage gateway creation. Right. So select the file share that you have created by choosing the link. So you can choose the refresh button occasionally to notice more status to available. You have to wait till the status is available. The status is updating, the loading, updating. So once you have the status available, you can try refresh occasionally to notice more quickly when the status is changed. It's still updating. Click the file share ID. You can see this file share ARN. This is the one. File share by choosing the link. Yeah, like this. You get this one. So that is task 5. Task 4. Mounting the file share to Linux instance and migrating the data. So we need to log into your Linux server, but before that, just download your walk key, download your PPK, that is your key where you can access your server. Okay, so this is on-premises Linux instance. So here in the instances, this is the one which I need to log in. This is my public IP. Okay, I go to putty. This is my putty. Run, and this SSH, auth, credentials, browse. So this is lab user 1, and say open and login as ec2-user. So this is now the last part is to mount this file system, okay, which is we have done all these things. I mean up to point number 53, 54, 56, 57, 58. 58 is ls media data. You have several files. This is the media data. Okay, so now you can say 59 sudo mkdir. Okay, we are creating a directory called as nfs s3. This is point number 59. So sudo mount -t the address. We need to copy this address of the storage gateway. You see this one, this is your storage gateway address. I mean I'll copy it on what we call as right. So how do we do that? Sudo nfs file gateway appliance, like this we need to copy. So we'll create like this. So file gateway IP address, here at the bottom you can see under the details section you copy this particular one, mount -t. So this is your path. I'm just copying it, not this one. So you see this is the one, this is your bucket, and so this is your mount path. Okay, so what you need to do, mount path is /mnt, the directory which you have created, this particular one. So copy here, replace this mount path. Okay, now copy this one. This is very important, this one. So once this is done, you can see the volume should be mounted. Okay, I think we need to give sudo. It is. You can say df-h to see the mount point. Yes, it is mounted 8 EB. This is your NFS mount storage gateway, which has been mounted successfully. This is for 61. If you see like this 1010 or something like this, 10.10.1.32 in our case 80, this is done. Now let us try to copy all the files of PNG files which you have into NFS S3. Okay, this should copy into your bucket. So all the files of PNG, whatever are the files which you have opened earlier. I think you need to say so. Just let me see, /media data cd/media data cp ***2 /mnt. So you can see this is already mounted, mnt nfs s3. Which is showing as input output error. So verifying the data, I mean, if it has done properly, you should see in your S3, this is your source which is there, all the files should be copied here into your source directory itself. It has successfully mounted, but unfortunately Linux, you can see here, mounted also proper. Now that you have created, you can copy all your data files into so verifying the data is migrated. Yes, this is the last part. This is the last part. Once we have done this, it should come across to view all the files into the bucket. Actually, it is giving us input-output error. I am not very sure where we have done wrong. Last task is, like you can see, the file should be copied here, but it is not shown here. So let me check submit. Yeah, you can see about 30 by 40, all the things are over. Only the Linux file system copy to share is not able to, that part is left. Rest all things has been done. Okay, thank you everyone, and bye.